The king stood in the grand hall of his opulent palace, surrounded by the vibrant colors of the festival. Laughter and music filled the air, but his heart was untouched by the revelry. Clad in royal garments that shimmered with gold thread, he surveyed the crowd, his expression one of disdain. Each year the festival was a display of his power, a chance to flaunt his wealth and generosity. Yet, amidst the jubilant throng, he felt an impenetrable loneliness, a chasm that widened with every passing moment. As the festivities reached their peak, a frail figure emerged from the shadows, weaving through the throng of nobles and merchants. The beggar, known throughout the kingdom as the kind hermit, approached the king with a humble demeanor. His clothes were tattered, and his face bore the marks of a life spent in hardship. Yet his eyes sparkled with a wisdom that belied his circumstances. While others sought alms, the kind hermit had come with a gift. The king, his brow furrowed, regarded the beggar with a mix of curiosity and irritation. What could this ragged figure possibly offer to him? A ruler of unmatched wealth. The beggar extended a small, worn-out cloth pouch, its edges frayed and stained. The king's lips curled into a sneer, convinced that this was some form of mockery. He was surrounded by treasures beyond imagination, and here stood a beggar with nothing more than a pouch that looked as if it had been discarded by the roadside. "Is this some jest?" the king scoffed, his voice dripping with contempt. "You dare to present me with such a pathetic offering?" The beggar remained unfazed, his gaze steady. "Your Majesty, this is not a jest, it is a gift, one that carries a weight far greater than gold." Intrigued yet skeptical, the king snatched the pouch from the beggar's hands, his fingers brushing against the rough fabric. He opened it, revealing a tiny mirror, carefully wrapped in a piece of old cloth. It was no more than a hand's breadth, yet it glimmered as if it held a secret of its own. Alongside it lay a note, its edges worn but the message clear. "This mirror shows the only thing you truly own, your kindness." The king's expression shifted from disbelief to confusion. What could this mean? He held the mirror up to his face, his heart racing with an uncharacteristic flutter of vulnerability. As he gazed into the reflective surface, the image that stared back was one he had never truly seen before. The mirror showed not the resplendent robes of a king, nor the wealth that surrounded him, but rather a weary, lonely man, his eyes clouded with emptiness. In that moment, the king felt an unfamiliar sensation wash over him. The laughter and music faded into a distant hum, replaced by a deafening silence that echoed within his soul. He had spent years accumulating riches, yet here was a mirror that stripped away the layers of his status, revealing the hollowness that lay beneath. For the first time he confronted the truth. His heart was as barren as the desert, untouched by the warmth of compassion or the joy of connection. Hesitation gripped him as he lowered the mirror. What had this beggar seen in him that he had refused to acknowledge? With a sudden urgency, he ordered his guards to find the kind hermit, to bring him back so that he could understand the meaning behind this gift. Yet, as they searched the festival grounds, the beggar had vanished, slipping away like a whisper on the wind. Days turned into weeks, and the king found himself haunted by the mirror's reflection. He began to listen to the murmurs of his people, the stories of their struggles, and the weight of their burdens. Gone was the indifference that had once shielded him from their plight. He ventured into the streets, where laughter mingled with sorrow, and he offered his hand to those in need, sharing not just his wealth, but his time and understanding. The palace, once a fortress of isolation, transformed into a hub of kindness and compassion. The little mirror found a place of honor on the king's desk, a constant reminder of the lesson imparted by the kind hermit. It served as a sacred emblem, a token of the truth that true wealth lies not in gold, but in the goodness one extends to others. As the seasons changed, so too did the kingdom. The king's heart softened, and the people flourished under his renewed leadership. The grand festival became a celebration not just of his power, but of the community that thrived around him. No longer did he look down on the poor. Instead, he sought their counsel, forging bonds that transcended the barriers of status. In the end, the king learned that titles fade, but kindness remains. The mirror, once a simple reflection, became a source of inspiration, urging him to continue nurturing the compassion that had awakened within him. He understood that every act of kindness, no matter how small, rippled through the lives of others, creating a tapestry of hope and connection. As he gazed into the mirror one last time, the king pondered the journey he had undertaken. What would his mirror show if it reflected his soul? Would it reveal the richness of his heart, the warmth of his spirit, or the shadows of his past? In that moment, he realized that the true measure of a person is not in their wealth or power, but in the kindness they extend to others. And so, in the quiet of his palace, the king made a vow to always carry the spirit of the kind hermit within him, ensuring that the light of compassion would forever illuminate the path of his reign.